Konnan, did you watch AEW last night? Oh, by the way, Joe, pull the rating up. I haven't seen it yet. So AEW last night was an interesting show. Had some stuff just off the hand. I'll tell you, there's some stuff I liked a lot and some stuff I did not like at all on this show. But I thought it was kind of entertaining.
I'm the same way.
Yeah. All right. So they start off with
930,000.
Yeah, same as last week, right? Is that almost identical as last week?
It's up 19,000. It was 911.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Right. About the same thing. Okay. Cool. So Dax and Cash and the Acclaimed against Swerve and Our Glory and Keith Lee and the Guns open up the show. So during the break, Doug Morrissey was out there. He helped him during the break and stuff, and everything, get heat. But this was actually a very you could tell FTR lazy's out, okay, because this was a pretty good match. There was not a lot of it was structured like hot tags. It didn't look very choreographed and stuff. It was just a lot of. I thought this was pretty good. I'll tell you this much. What's the kid's name here? Okay, so Anthony Bowens. Okay, that's not the one that has the good rap. That's the other one, right?
Caster's the rapper.
Caster's a rapper. Okay, the Bowens kid's a better worker than Caster. Okay, his stuff looks better and something. However, he's a ridiculous thigh slapper because he does this on the thigh slap, like this, like his hand just goes wee, like so is the trope. But everything else he does pretty good. I am very impressed with Swerve Strickland's work. He has a very unique ring presence, the way he moves, his strikes look good, his selling, his bumps and stuff. He's always in the right spot. He's not waiting. A lot of these other guys, these green guys like Max Caster, you can see them. Like there was a spot where they were bent over, just sitting there, like waiting. He literally was in the ring, and he was supposed to have his back turned to the guy, and he kind of just turned his back around and kind of stood there and waited for the guy to jump on him. It's like, and you can spot things like that if you're trained doing this, but basically the baby faces went over, and I thought this was a pretty decent match. And the Guns, all the workers here sell, like they're very animated selling and stuff. And I thought this was pretty entertaining. What do you think?
I thought, first of all, Claim the Super over. Mm-hmm. Good match to start off for, four guys that are really over with the crowd. And plus, the crowd helped a lot, unlike Wilkes-Barre in WWE, which they were very cold. This is a red-hot crowd. And so this is a good opener,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then we did a video package with MJF. It's like doing a podcast, and they were filming the podcast, and he's basically just cutting a promo on Moxley, and he said sets him apart as he was born to do it. He's had a spotlight stolen from him ever since he was in AEW. First was a neck tattoo, then it was Matt Hardy playing Humpty Dumpty, and then it was John Moxley cheating to beat him. They told Moxley he didn't need the Diamond ring to beat him because he's better than him, and he would do it with his own hands. This is a condensed version. It's actually a pretty long interview like he always does, but it wasn't bad. I liked it. What'd you think?
Yeah, real good MJF promo.
So then they go, I don't know why they're doing this. It's like cinematic video package for Stokely Hathaway, who literally, he said this, he accused MJF of John Moxley without a license and told him to see him in hell. How did that get on TV? You could say that?
Standards are different now,
Whatever, but
it's cable.
Bro, they give a lot of time and a lot of effort into Stokely Hathaway, and I think it's wasted airtime, to be honest with you. What do you think?
Yeah, I've always said that too. I think he needs to reinvent himself. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing exciting about him. He doesn't really have a gimmick. Who is he? What is he? Why is he there? How did he get so much power? There's a lot of questions.
Right. Like, why are you investing so much in this guy? This is like
a lot of questions, no answers, and he doesn't seem like a leader type that anybody would follow. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a tournament quarterfinal for what tournament is this? The AEW Eliminator tournament. Okay.
What? For what?
For the AEW title, I think.
For a title shot.
Or the All Atlantic title, maybe, or something. I don't know. There's so many titles. It's like an AEW Eliminator tournament, whatever that means. But Paige and Eddie Kingston, the first 5 minutes of this weren't bad. But then I think Eddie got blown up a little bit because, bro, when Eddie throws punches, there was a spot. He's throwing punches to the guy's head. Okay, but when he's hitting him, he's opening his head and he's hitting him with the palm of his hands with an open hand, right? Then he did it, and then he threw one and acted like he hit his knuckles on his head, but you could see him like he wasn't hitting with his knuckles. He was hitting with the open part of his hand. I thought that was silly. They did the finish here was clunky. They climbed up and they were on the top rope, and he gave the razor's edge off the top rope. But the way they got into it, it's like Eddie was like putting himself in the move, which looked ridiculous. But I didn't like the last 5 minutes of this. The first 5 minutes were all right, but the right guy went over. Ethan Page, what'd you think?
This was weird, and I'll tell you why. First of all, this happens to me a lot. Guys are off of TV so long that I forgot they're even there. I forgot about Eddie. I even forgot about Ortiz.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he came out with Ortiz, by the way. And
yeah, because they don't really use them.
Right.
I thought it was kind of weird who Ethan Page, who I'm a big fan of. I think he's a 5-tool player, and he's got everything it takes to be a star. Hasn't been positioned as one, and Eddie has. And for Ethan to beat him, I thought was a little bit weird. Because even though Hathaway interfered, it was pretty much clean. I was surprised that, Page beat him, but maybe this is the beginning of a feud. So,
Well, they have to start putting these guys over in that faction because they're pushing Stokely's faction like the NWO, right?
Right.
So, all right. So next we have this is
like if they were damage control, nothing.
Right. The next two segments show kind of the mistakes that this company makes a lot. So Rush and Jose were with the Dark Order and Renee Paquette. Jose, who is a terrible interview, is about the best way I could say it. Told Preston Vance that he would get the first title opportunity after he runs the Eliminator tournament and captures a title. He then made it clear that our members of the Dark Order will never get a title shot. And he was putting 10 over, Preston Vance over because he's got a good physique and he looks like he works out. And then he said, Dark Order said they'd never get a title shot. John Silver's there. He called him a Roosh bag. And that got Roosh mad. And they had a weak looking pull. Bro, they literally just cut right away. They always do this in these backstage segments. They cut them, it looks like, before they're supposed to be finished. And the announcers do not narrate what happened and tell you to narrate. They just immediately go to something else. So this condensed version and what you just saw, that's it. It was like a minute. Whatever you got out of it, the announcers don't bring it up again. They say, and that's all. So then they go to Ari Daivari in the ring. And I'm going to just say this. We'll talk about it at the beginning because this is all one segment to me, right? They go to him in the ring. And this is so stupid. The guy has a guy in the ring with his personal assistant, and he says he offered Wardlow money in exchange for his butler if he hands him over the TNT title. This is like so dumb. Wardlow makes his entrance and rejected the deal by throwing the butler out of the ring, and Samoa Joe came out with him, right? He beats this guy in like 1 minute. And then after the match, Wardlow calls Powerhouse Hobbs out, and Hobbs makes his entrance, and Wardlow thanked Hobbs for coming out like a man this time and said he'd never get the TNT title and that he would eventually take every title in the company. I guess this got Joe mad because Joe then just hits him from behind with the Ring of Honor title belt and choked him out. And and then what'd you think of this? Start with the backstage segment with Jose and
well, here's the problem with that. Everybody in that segment comes off as J-Brones because they pretty much are.
Except for Roosh, and he comes across as J-Brone because everybody else.
Roosh gets diluted for being with those J-Brones.
For being with Jose.
It's almost, with Jose and the other guys.
Right.
All of them. It's like, you're going to go see, I don't know, like Elton John, and he's at the singing at the Sam's Town,
the vamp bar on the Sahara, instead of like T-Mobile, right?
Right. He's at Sam's Town,
right? Yeah.
So Rouge, who looks every bit of a star, looks like a J-Brone with these other J-Brones. So that, and then it's a very, very awkward out, as you said.
Yeah.
And then in one of the most laziest premises I've ever seen. It's like, hey, yeah, I'll let you fight me, and I'll give you this guy as a butler. What type of implausible, logical is that?
It was like an indie angle, Right. I was like, what? It was silly.
How
right?
lazy is that? You've got a whole week to come up with something, and that's the best you came up with. And then I don't know if you felt this, but I definitely felt it, and I'll tell you why. When Joe was in the ring, I thought he's going to attack this guy because they've been hot-shotting. And that's exactly what happened. They hot-shot it again. This should have been built up. It really didn't get a big a pop as I thought. And they just did it because they've been hot-shotting. Right. You know what I'm saying?
That's what it looked like. I was going to say hot-shotting. Yeah.
This was done too fast, bro. He should not have attacked them out of the blue. Too lazy excuses for you know what I'm saying? For a match and for a swerve.
Right. So backstage, this was another amateurish thing. So Jade Cargill was with the baddies and told Renee Paquette that she would handle Nyla Rose's ass at Full Gear. And Cargill said that if Rose showed up to Rampage of Boston, she would take care of her there. So it's funny. So she knocks Renee's mic and walks off. And in a very phony way, the two baddies like fake ran after her. Did you know?
Yeah.
It's like, bro, these girls don't know. These indie girls don't know how to act like professional
Plus,
TV
she doesn't need them. What are they there for? And why is Layla even there? But here's the other thing, bro. What a waste. I don't even know the word, but bro, what a waste of talent with Wardlow and Jade Cargill specifically.
Well, at least Wardlow's going to be in an angle now with Joe.
Still, bro.
Yeah. So
everything they've done with him has been brutal. The War Joe name, him against everything, bro. They've done a really bad job with him. They had something really hot. Jade looks like a star just standing there, and they don't really do her any favors either.
All right. So the next segment was excellent. Britt Baker's Tony Giovanni comes out with face to face with Britt Baker. He introduced Saraya. Both are in street clothes. Saraya dressed like a star. She knows the deal. You know, she looked like $1 million out there with what she was wearing. Britt looked actually better than usual. She wanted to tell everyone, Britt Baker, something. Saraya said she had done MRIs, CT scans, and X-rays. Unfortunately for Britt, she was 100% cleared. She almost cried when she said that, by the way. She said AEW was her house, and it got an ovation. And Baker asked her what that means because she wasn't sure she remembered how to do this. Britt said, let's make things crystal clear. She claimed to have built AEW into a fortress that other superstars want to be part of, and Britt was resentful of Saraya skipping into AEW and calling it her house because she hadn't laid a single brick. She claimed to be everything Saraya wished she was because she left her house and walked into mine, and Britt told her they don't take walk-ins, so she needed to make an appointment. That was probably the best paragraph that Britt has delivered since she's been in AEW in an interview, because like all the other interviews are very generic and whatever, but that was a great line, right? And it got a good pop. Saraya replied that Britt had been handed her position by Tony Khan, was fed QT's trainees, and has been in front of the camera for 3 years. She started running down her hardships coming up in the UK for 17 years, starting revolutions and battling her demons and addictions. And she said this too. She goes, I got humiliated in front of millions of people. And I think she was talking about her sex tape. Like she's been pretty real here. Saraya then told Britt that they would face each other at Full Gear. Britt tried to land a cheap shot, but Saraya ended up picking her up and landed a DDT. And Saraya screamed, this is her house, and she walked away. I thought this was very good. What do you think?
I thought this was very good. I'm not a big fan of a babyface putting herself over. I've been to Madison Square
Garden. Yeah, she did, right? It was kind of sounding really maniacal, right? Yeah.
That sounded a little markish, but good passion. People got into it way better than anything else the women are doing. Great line by Britt. We don't take walk-ins.
Right.
And I also think that after all of that, Britt should have left Saraya laying.
Yeah. Not a bad. Yeah, good point. Good point. She left with heat there. Yeah.
Right.
All right. So this is hysterical. So backstage, the factory was accepting a payment from Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt. Right. Then Danhausen, the best friends in Orange Cassidy, walked up, and QT asked Cassidy to face Lee Johnson on Rampage, and he agreed. So then they did a weird.
How wild was that? That's all it took.
Then they did a weird edit where they were all standing right there in the same spots, but the baby faces had left. And then Trent called Jay Lethal scumbags, and they were all just right there like 2 seconds ago. But they shot this like they just walked up because they had. Well, if you go back and watch this, it's very weird how the editing on this worked out, right? So they challenged Jay Lethal to a match on Dynamite and called Lethal and company scumbags, and basically this was there was a very weird like I said, they do these backstage segments. They're rushed. They don't resonate. They're fast, and all they do is lead to just say, "Hey, we're gonna have a match on Rampage, or we're gonna have a match next, or we're gonna, So it's just like I said, that last interview segment was character development. Okay, they were talking about talking about things, talking about themselves. This was just like, okay, hey, you guys are scumbags. Let's have a match.
This is very lazy again.
Yeah.
He just went up to him, called him a scumbag, challenged him to a match. The other guy accepted, and that was it. Ooh.
And then they went to the ring. To the entrances, because that was like shot earlier today. Then they go to the entrances, right? So I don't know. So Jay Lethal cuts him off before the match starts, and basically there was a stupid spot here where the big guy comes up on the apron, Satnam Singh. Danhausen comes up and tries to put a spell on him. Then Sanjay turns around. They're on the apron. And this is actually pretty funny. Danhausen punched him in the. Okay, but then Singh took care of him afterwards. But then Lethal landed a lethal injection and got the win. But that lethal injection, what a finish that is!
Yeah.
Like, it's unbelievable that Jay can do it so perfectly every time because you got to get the right distance and stuff. And like, that really is a tremendous finish. What'd you think of this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good match.
There's more. After the match, Duck brought out Jeff Jarrett on the top of the ramp. Jarrett referred himself as the last outlaw again. He said when a friend calls, he answers. They started putting a plan together that started last week. Jarrett put over Lethal as a Grand Slam Ring of Honor champion that he signed his first wrestling contract and said Dutt has a 181 IQ. That was funny. And Singh was the only NBA player in history born and bred in India. A stagehand attempted to wrap him up and Jarrett chasing down the ringside, but the segment ended there. Did you see that? Was kind of what another awkward hour. It's like he chased after the stagehand, and then that was the end of the segment.
He ran him off twice. Yeah.
I was like, oh, all right. What did you think of that?
I just thought hit him with guitar.
Right.
Got some heat.
So another charismatic interview here. I'm missing something here. There was a. Speaking of burying people like guys that they're doing nothing with, there's maybe I'm not at it yet, but
Speaking of like an eight.
Oh no! Here, okay, right here. Okay. So basically, Jungle Boy was interviewed by Renee Paquette. He said he left Luchasaurus a pile of wood last week and had a challenge for him. He said he delivered his challenges like a man. And said he stayed in the ring Friday on Rampage. It's meant nothing. John Moxley comes out for a promo. Talks about how long him and Regal have known each other, and they were making fun of MJF calling himself the devil and said his mom buys him his clothes, everything. It was just a basic promo for the match, not much. It's all right. What did you think of this?
Yeah, good promo.
Yeah. So then Bryan Danielson cut a heated promo on Sammy. Not bad. Jamie Hayter. Oh, okay, I'm gonna read you a sentence. Jamie Hayter made a ring entrance. Bro, Jamie Hayter needs these girls from the Indies need to smarten up. Look at how long Roman Reigns takes his ring entrance, right? Jamie Hayter rushes to the ring. Like fast walk, just comes right there. I got to get in the ring because I've only got 6 minutes for my match. That's what it looks like, She needs to start acting like a star if she wants to be a star. But she basically beats this girl Sky Blue in 6 minutes. And she attacked her again, and the Storm came out with Sky Blue and whatever. So what'd you think of this?
I just thought it was very weird that she needed Britt's help to beat Sky Blue.
Right.
And why was Britt even out there? To me, it was beneath her. You just did a great promo with Saraya, and you're out there worried about Hayter and making sure this young girl doesn't win. I just thought that was
right.
Yeah.
So then they have a video package that aired for Brian Cage and Dante Martin's match on Rampage. And basically, this was the gist of it. Brian Cage is, I'm a machine. I beat people up. And Dante Martin goes, I'm going to chop you down. I'll see you on Friday on Rampage. It's like completely no substance at all.
Typical Rampage promo. 30 seconds.
Right.
Let's go.
Right. So speaking of guys that they're doing nothing with, remember when I told you that when they turned Ricky Starks, his stock was going to drop?
Right.
Bro, he just got punked backstage by Lance Archer like he was a jobber and just got bullied and pummeled by Archer into the they slammed it. Just complete burial here to Ricky Starks. I felt bad for I was thinking to myself to see if because what have they done with this guy since he was hot? So nothing, right? So main event time, Sammy against Bryan Danielson. Bryan wins the first fall by DQ. The first because Sammy threw a chair at his head. Then Sammy wins the second fall when he hit him with a GTH. Then
was it necessary for Bryan to bleed?
I have no idea. I don't know. They think, bro. The way that you listen to like Meltzer and these guys talk about these matches, like these are epic matches in their opinion. Like what a great match, and he do them like they go over the details of like the moves. Like he had him in the label lock, and he was like, and I'm like, dude, it's like nobody gives a rat's ass about this. You know what I'm saying? They did a struggle at the end where he had him in the cross face, and he tapped him out, and he had a swollen eye after the show, so I'm sure he got stiffed. So that's nice because here's a guy with concussion issues, and Sammy's stiffing the guy in the head. That's great, Sammy. So I don't know I don't know what this match accomplished. Like, what was the point of this?
I don't know. Maybe to elevate Sammy, get Danielson a much needed win. The fans, I like when he did a shooting star press to the floor, and they were like, "Yeah, you still suck." And then he did like a cutter, and then he got caught by Danielson. That I like that.
Right.
It was a good match. They boot Tay gets good heat outside. They booted her.
Right.
It was a good match, but really, what purpose did it
it's like,
serve?
well, what was the emotional investment? This is what
But
were they
to them,
fighting
that's
for, right?
enough. A good match.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. All right. That's been our AEW review.
Enjoy the rest of the show.
Oh, just by the way, the things we liked. By the way, the tag match was very good, and that Britt Saraya promo thing was very good.
Tag match is good. The MJF promo's good.
Did you, for comedic purposes, watch the promo with Jose and the Dark Order and Rouge? Right. So, that's been our Dynamite review.
All right.